Pokemon Bank's time is limited, so I'll show you important Pokemon that you're going to want to get before they're lost forever. Hey guys, Leyland here, and this video is made in response to the Nintendo announcement how they'll be shutting down the servers for both 3DS and the Wii U in April 2024, and how Pokemon Bank will soon follow. Now, while I haven't really given an exact date on when this is going to be happening for Pokemon Bank, you guys don't want to procrastinate, because if you do, you are going to be losing out on a handful of Pokemon. So let's go ahead and dive in. Now, full disclosure, with these games currently on the Switch, that means Generation 1 remakes, that being Let's Go Series, Generation 4 remakes, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, Legends Arceus, Generation 8's Sword and Shield, and lastly, Generation 9 Scarlet and Violet. You surprisingly have the ability to obtain the vast majority of Pokemon, that being nearly 1,017 Pokemon currently in the games. And of course, later this year with the Indigo Disc DLC. So let's go ahead and start with the starters in Unova. We have Snivy and Tenpig. Now while you can play through Generations 5, Black and White, Black 2, White 2 to obtain them, however, technically speaking, these two starters will be available in Scarlet and Violet's DLC, Part 2, the Indigo Disc. So if you have the DLC already, and come this winter, you will be able to catch all the starters, all of which are making a return. In Sword and Shield's DLC, the Isles of Armor, you have the ability to obtain the remaining two starters from Generation 7. That's in Sun and Moon, and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, the starters Litten and Popplio. You can get them from the Diglett Master. You'll be able to get Litten if you have chosen Scorbunny as your starter, and Popplio if you chose Sobble as your starter. Continuing on with Unova, which does honestly have the majority of the missing Pokemon in this list that you'll want to get. First, we do have this region's Rodent, which is Patrat and Watchdog. These are honestly the only games you have the ability to obtain these two. Up next, we have Blitzel and Zebstrika. You can find these two in the wild in Black and White, Black 2, White 2. However, its evolution, Zebstrika, can also be found in Oraz Mirage Island. Postlin here. I forgot to put that Blitzel and Zebstrika will be returning in Scarlet and Violet's DLC Part 2, the Indigo Disc. So you will be able to get them there. Last up that we have for Unova, we've got the fake starters of Unova. That being the Grass, Fire, and Water Monkeys Pokemon, Pansage, Pansear, and Panpour. You can also get them in X and Y Santa Luna Forest, which is honestly funny because it's an exact replica of the Viridian Forest in Generation 1. Speaking of which, moving on to Kalos, we got only one Pokemon that you'll need to obtain, and that Pokemon is Furfrou. Honestly, probably one of my favorite Pokemon from this generation, as it is a half-decent normal type with a very unique ability that makes it good for early game. Furfrou can also be obtained in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, on these routes displayed on screen. Last but certainly not least, we are moving on to the Alolan region, with only one Pokemon that hasn't appeared in any other game since, and that Pokemon being Minior. You can only obtain this Pokemon at Mount Hakulanani. Now with the normal Pokemon out of the way, if by chance you don't have any of the previous games outside of the Switch, the previous Pokemon outside of the starters are near impossible to attain on your own. However, if Legendaries is something you are after, in Pokemon Sword and Shield's DLC The Crown Tundra, you can attempt Dynamax Adventures. At the end of these, you have the chance to encounter any Legendary as well as any Ultra Beast Pokemon. And with that, you have the ability to capture them as well. Now with that, you guys, that is all the Pokemon you can obtain legitimately through the games, if you have them. However, we do have a small issue in regards to a certain class of Pokemon, that being the Mythical Pokemon. Now, these Pokemon are ones that aren't usually obtainable in-game through normal means. That's because all of them are event-based only, with some exceptions for some of them. That all includes Celebi, Deoxys, Genesect, Meloetta, Diancie, Hoopa, Volcanion, Marshadow, and Zeraora.
However, there's some mythical Pokemon that are obtainable in Legends Arceus. That being, Cresselia in Story Mission number 23. You'll be sent to the Moonview Arena in Coronet Highlands. Manaphy and Phione in Request number 66. It'll require catching Bizel, Mantike, and Overquill. You'll be sent to Seaside Hollow Arena and be able to catch both Manaphy and Phione. For Shaman, if you have saved data of Sword or Shield on your Switch, you'll have to complete the main story, where you'll get access to Floro Gardens area where Shaman can be found. You can also get Darkrai if you have saved data of Brilliant Diamond or Shining Pearl on your Switch. A special request will appear on the blackboard after completing the main story. You'll get access to Clamberclaw Cliffs, but only during nighttime hours.
With one exception, of course, being that of Magearna. It is still obtainable in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. You can still use these QR codes because it is coded in the games, unlike other events, which are time-based. However, of course, you can still obtain the other mythical Pokemon through other means. Beyond that, you guys, those are all of the Pokemon that you're going to want to try and get before Pokemon Bank eventually shuts down sometime after April of 2024. We don't know exactly when it'll happen, but I'm sure it's not going to be long after the servers officially goes down on both 3DS and Wii U. So, honestly guys, do not sleep on this, because there is honestly no telling when we'll be able to obtain these Pokemon again, unless we get remakes or in future generations where they bring them back. So, with that being said, I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. Share this video with those that are in need of what to obtain before the Pokemon Bank is gone. Good luck you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Later!